Welcome to Luxury Beast YouTube channel where we can explore all topics related to luxury. For more upcoming videos, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Like, comment, and share to your friends. Africa, the cradle of civilization, is still seen today as desperately poor. But the irony is that how could a continent that possesses 30% of the world's total mineral reserves, 90% of the world's platinum and chromium reserves, and 60% of the world's arable land be still so poor? Your concerns will be addressed in this video. The magnificent Victoria Falls, Egyptian pyramids that are listed as World Heritage Sites, and countless wildlife reserves are just a handful of the many tourist attractions that Africa has to offer. This is in addition to the varied ethnic groupings with over 1,500 languages and the rich African culture. The second largest and second most populous continent in the world is this one. Changing the story. The idea that Africa is a poor continent has been perpetuated for a very long time and has become deeply embedded in our thoughts. For Africa to stop being seen as a needy continent and start being seen as the potentially wealthy continent that it is, this narrative must first change. Only after acknowledging and addressing Africa's true problems can serious action be taken to achieve change. African Natural Resource Scramble. As a result of the civil turmoil that results from the mines, the majority of nations with significant mineral riches, like the DRC, have more defective democracies, suffer from stunted development, and see their economies grow more slowly. Private businesses must pay the necessary taxes and guarantee that the working conditions for miners fulfill minimal health and safety requirements. Furthermore, Africa is losing close to US $30 billion annually due to illegal fishing, forestry, and trading in wildlife. Dependency on debt. The dependency syndrome for debt, help, and donations has emerged throughout Africa. It must develop regulations that encourage self-sufficiency. Unfortunately, a lot of African nations are experiencing severe levels of debt. Between 1982 and 1992, the average debt-to-GDP ratio in sub-Saharan Africa rose from 51% to around 100%. Zambia and other nations are already in the red. Therefore, it is essential to create an economic plan for the African continent that gives it complete economic autonomy, repaying loans that were frequently obtained speculatively based on high commodity prices and carrying exorbitant rates of interest. Cost Ghana's government 30% of its income. Debt burdens limit economic growth and result in underdeveloped nations. Inadequate use of its resources. For a variety of reasons, Africans have not successfully used their resources for their own gain. Some of them are self-made, while others are thrust upon them as a result of various circumstances. In Africa, there is a lot of labor available to aid in the extraction of natural resources, and there is also a lot of potential to increase the supply of electricity. Africa needs to enhance its power supplies to boost its economy. Nevertheless, less than 1% of the world's potential water power has been utilized, compared to around 10% in Europe and 13% in North America. This is one of the causes of paradoxical existence of poverty among abundance, mismanagement, and corruption. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia stated that Africa is not poor, it is poorly managed. In a 2009 interview with BBC's Mark Doyle, a 2014 estimate indicates that wealthy Africans were hoarding a staggering $500 billion in tax havens, an economy that allows a small fraction of Africans to become wealthy by permitting wealth to flow out of Africa is robbing the people of Africa of their wealth. If African countries are to benefit from foreign investment and the firms that brings it, they must be allowed to properly regulate it, and the continent needs to reconsider its existing reliance on the extractives industry, where the prices of raw materials are prone to change. This has made Africa's current situation worse. According to a Transparency International, or TI, report, the majority of African governments are unable to live up to the expectations of their constituents because of widespread corruption. The respondents claimed that, despite campaigns and engagement by civil society and the populace, corruption grew in the area. The most corrupt group in the area was found to be the police. Politicians tend to be the most corrupt people because they frequently use their influence to get around the law and avoid being imprisoned. Unfortunately, there isn't currently enough political will or legislations in place to fight corruption. Africa's wealth will continue to be stolen by a few people unless corruption is permanently removed and the offenders are imprisoned. A civil war. Civil wars make people disoriented and penniless, which contributes to poverty. Additionally, they demolish communication networks and roadways, cutting off businesses from their customers. Economic unrest results from industries collapsing, job losses, and an investor exodus from the impacted nation. Since it began its violent campaign in Nigeria, the Boko Haram insurgency has resulted in over 100,000 fatalities. According to reports from the oil-producing nation, by 2015, economic activity had fallen by 80% in places like Kano. Development of human resources. Although some governments have made providing basic education a priority, many communities lack schools, and even where they are present, they are dispersed throughout and are difficult for younger children to attend. Additionally, some families cannot afford to provide their children with a basic education due to a lack of trained employees. The economy suffers from insufficient skills and knowledge. The emphasis of Africa's educational system must likewise be on technologically advanced, globally competitive education. Practical skills are rarely taught at a vocational or technical schools, while more post-secondary institutions produce graduates who won't be employable. Africa can have confidence in itself. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is a positive development for the continent. It demonstrates that there is potential for intra-African trade to increase to the levels we observe in America or Europe. Africa's economy will expand far more quickly if fair trade regulations are implemented for its countries to trade with other countries than it would with help. Africa may flourish if it places a strong emphasis on avoiding corruption and providing necessities like water, food, shelter, energy, education, and security, as well as implementing trade-friendly policies and avoiding reliance on foreign handouts. Like Madame Johnson Sirleaf said, Africa is not poor, it is mismanaged. There you have it then. The reasons why Africa is not truly underdeveloped. Even though it isn't what it could be, it is still worth fighting for. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Please like and share.